Yo, what's up? So let's get on with the show, folks. The hidden years. Now we're at 4, and this is like 10 years of my life, and I don't even know if I'm going to bring it to here. And what are we on, an hour of tape? Man, I love talking about myself. I must truly be a narcissist. Anyway, love you guys, and, if you're interested in this, probably no one will watch it anyway. I did something on, the first 20 years of my life, and no one really listened. So, who knows? Anyway, if you watch this, I love you, and you win a prize. No, you don't win a prize, but, yeah, anyway, God bless you. So yeah, anyway, I'm out of this crazy detox place, and I'm walking down the road, and, I'm walking towards killing myself. And, I met this brother that I had met about 3 times, him and his wife, and, they could see I was just messed and mangled, and, I hadn't showered, I was in ripped up clothes, and, I just looked like hell, and that's where I'd been. And I just saw them, and they said, "Dave, what's going on?" And I just broke out crying. I just completely had a breakdown then. And you know what? They flagged a cab, put me in, took me to their house, and nursed me for a week. Now, if that isn't a miracle, that's never happened to me in this city. This is a very cold city, and I've since lost contact with those people. Who I really am thankful to and appreciate. But, man, God was there, and he really used those people that day. So anyway, I started getting my act together, and I started doing evangelism, and I wanted to save everyone, because I really believe that Jesus Christ is who he claims to be, and I believe that, he said that, who the Son sets free, right, is free indeed. And there's no way to the Father except through the Son. So I really believe that, like Moses lifted up the serpent in the desert, right? For those that were dying, God just said, "Hey, man, you just got to look this way and look upon me." And I believe that Jesus was the same thing, like Moses was lifted up, and he lifted up the serpent in the desert. So Jesus was lifted up on the cross, And I really believe that after 3 days, he died and came back to life. He was resurrected, and he really is the Son of God. Woo! Yeah, glory. Praise you, Jesus. And, yeah, so, anyway, I was doing crazy street evangelism and going out, and, it was just weird. It was like I was functioning in half on earth and half really in the heavenlies, and, people were getting saved right on the street, and I could see the people really responding, and it wasn't me at all. It was the Spirit of God, for whatever reason, chose to use me as an instrument of his Spirit at that point, and I believe it was real, and I think I was pretty sincere. But, you start doing stuff like that, and after a while, and a short while at that, you're on the enemy's hit list, and people started coming out of me, conventional Christians, and completely attacking me, ripping my character to shreds. Not one of them would couple with me in doing it, and actually going out and talking to homeless people and prostitutes and drug addicts and alcoholics, and the people that I was ministering to, a lot of guys that just were recently paroled from federal penitentiaries and stuff. Not a lot of them would help me. Actually, none of them would. Not one single one would help me. What I got instead was judgment, condemnation, attack. They just totally ripped me apart. Said that there's no way I should be out there with my past history. But yet, it was my past history that made people trust me and made people know that I was sincere, which I really was. And they said there's missionaries that do that and stuff. Yeah, what? They go to 4 years of Bible school, and half of them probably don't even care. They're like from rich families, and they don't understand these people. They don't have any idea their suffering, the culture they're from. It's totally ridiculous, and people don't relate to them. It's like taking your money when you donate to things like that and missions like that, and putting it in a barrel, pouring gasoline over it, and burning it. And I stick to that. That's absolutely true. And the biggest argument of all, which, what, part of it could be valid, right? But it's crap. It's absolute crap. Is that, well, what if these dudes fall, that have been from the street? And of course they'll fall. Everyone will fall. And I mean, that makes the whole testimony even more authentic, because it shows how real they are, and that God is just using them, right? Jars of clay, man. We have this power in very mortal bodies, earth suits, and rust never sleeps, and we're all sinners. And how many pastors fall? Give me a break. How many pastors are fallen? I wonder how many pastors are not saved. I've been through absolute hell since graduating Teen Challenge in the church. Anyway, at that point in my life, this guy that I thought I trusted, who was a Christian brother, took me out and completely was, now I see, was completely full of Satan and envious. And he completely told me, just the most horrible things about me. He said I was like Absalom, and I was trying to usurp the kingdom from those in authority and all this weird stuff, which was really weird because I never really had a great compensity or love for organized religion. I always saw it as false and shoddy. What I had was a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and I wasn't trying to usurp anyone's authority. I was just trying to tell people about Jesus, something that I believe that the Word tells every Christian to do. So it was the breaking point after so many had attacked me and no one would support me, and I had actually spent all my money producing CDs. I'd done a project with a Grammy-nominated, multiple award-winning rapper, Christian rapper, and I had that on the CD as well as some of my own music and my testimony. Me and my family spent all my money putting them out on the streets, and we never received a penny from them, and that's okay. It wasn't for that. It wasn't to make profit off of people, but we really hoped that other people would come and see that this was bearing fruit and people were getting saved and get behind it. But again, you know what, there was no way anyone was going to help me, and so I ended up just losing it. And I got in my car literally one day, and I live about 2,500 kilometers from the ocean, and I drove to the ocean, and that wasn't enough. I took the ferry and drove to the far end of Vancouver Island, and I just sat there and literally got drunk and high for about 2-3 weeks. I did acid, I did all this stuff, just trying to escape. And one morning I just felt desperate and empty, and I ended up crying out to God again. I was so confused and so angry with God, to be honest with you, so angry that he couldn't have protected me, that he wouldn't rise one person up to help me. I just didn't understand any of it. And I cried out to God, and you know what, in a really still, small, gentle voice, God said, get in your car and go home. Your daughter misses you. And I actually was depleted of funds and everything else, and I ended up getting home with about $5 left. Can you imagine? That's how God had worked out the money, that I had just enough money to get home. It just seemed beyond coincidence to me. So anyway, God said, get in your car, your daughter misses you. And I got in my car and I drove all the way in one shot, and I did it in like ridiculous time, like less than a 24-hour period or something crazy, maybe just over 24 hours. And that includes the ferry and everything from the island. And I got home, and my daughter ran up and wrapped her arms around me so tightly, tears running down her cheeks, and she said, Dad, I know God's real, huh? because I didn't sleep last night praying for you. I prayed all night that God would bring you home and you'd be safe. So I think that's where I'll leave this one. And I think just in this short span of time in this little chapter, I've told you about two miracles. Now, my faith isn't based on miracles, but I've certainly seen my share of them. And it's getting harder to deny the signature of God on my life. And I'm the worst of the worst.